Hello students, this is Generational Marketing, the Shelley and Cashman Word Module 2 SAM Project 1A. I've already pulled up my instruction sheet, and I also have my research paper, and I'll pull it over so you can see that I have it. Once I click on it, just to let you know, I do have that handy. And I'll be kind of moving these things around a little bit as we go. And let's go ahead and get our instructions back up. So you should have taken care of downloading your file, and when you downloaded your start file, change the 1 to a 2. Check the footer at the bottom of the page to make sure your name is in the footer. You're writing a research paper for your marketing principles class. The topic of the paper is generational marketing. You must write the paper in MLA guide or style and include suggestions from your professor. MLA, the Modern Languages Association, is one of several different style formats that are used to publish documents, journal entries, research articles. If you're going for your doctorate, typically you have to publish your research project. That's one of the requirements of receiving your PhD or your doctorate, depending upon what discipline you're going in. And you also have to defend your research, so you have to defend your project in order to receive your doctoral degree as well. Okay, so we have to first and foremost change the citations and bibliography style of the document to MLA. And when we do that, we're going to conform to MLA guidelines by modifying the normal style. We'll change the normal style font to Times New Roman, the font size to 12 point, and the normal style line spacing to double with no spacing after paragraphs. Once we have that modification set up, then we will apply the modified normal style to the first 4 paragraphs in the document, which includes Li Bao through the date. And we will center the title of the paragraph, Generational Marketing, Varying Online Content by Generation. So we'll try to get through the first 4 of these. And I'm just going to switch the documents, so bear with me. See if we can get that to pop into place. Okay. So first and foremost, we must change the citation. So we want to go to references and citations and bibliography. You'll notice the style is the American Psychological Association. If you click on the pull down list, you'll see that Chicago has their own style guides for publication. They have a press there. They're in their 16th edition. Some of these are government. Harvard has its own press, the Harvard Press. They've had that since 2008. International Electronic and Electrical Engineers has their own guidelines, and this is actually where a lot of the development of your protocols for networking and internet connections are found. There's the MLA 7th edition, so we'll click on it. Now you'll notice that nothing really happened to our document. Also notice that, and I'm going to switch back to home for a second, that we're currently in a Calibri Light heading here, and if I click here, we're in a Calibri body at 11 point. But we're going to change that so it's Times New Roman, it's 12 point, it is double spaced, and has no spacing after the paragraphs. I'm just going to park myself next to Lee's name, and we're going to go to Normal in the Style group, and you want to right click on it and choose Modify. So when you click on Modify, you're going to get the Modify dialog box to pop up. First and foremost, we want to change the formatting from Calibri Body to Times New Roman. If you've used it recently, you'll see it there on the list up at the top. Notice that it is a serif font. It has the little stalks and the little set points there for the letters, whereas Arial does not have that if you look at the Arial or the Calibri. So we're going to choose that, and we have to change the 11 to a 12 because it has to be 12 point. Now, you have left, center, right align, and justify. And then in this next little group, you have single spacing. It's like 1.5 spacing, and then there's double spacing. So we're going to click the double spacing button there. Now, these buttons here allow you to add or reduce the spacing. But we will go down here to the Format button and go to Paragraph. Now we got another dialog box open, but let's take a look at it. Spacing before is 0, but spacing after is 8 point. We just want to use the down arrow there till we make it 0 in both of those. There you can also tell that your line spacing is double. And in terms of indentation, let's just make sure whether or not we're supposed to do that just yet. Does not look like it. So let's just save what we've done. And then we have to say OK here. And we're going to highlight these first 4. Now our normal has been changed, but it's only been changed for this document. So when we click on that, notice how everything gets that Times New Roman. Notice that it's 12 point. And if we were to go back and look, we could tell that this is all double spaced. If you were to right click on normal for a modify, just to show you that only in this document down below on the left hand corner, you want this to only affect this document. If you wanted to always type in Times New Roman 12 point double space, then you could create all your new documents based on the template that you've just created. We just recommend that you do it to each of the individual documents that you're creating so that you don't accidentally use the font or size that you didn't mean to. So I just wanted to show you that. I'll cancel that out. So we've got this information here. We've got generational marketing, which is our title of this research paper. So we're supposed to center that. Now you'll notice that there are a few new things that are on our mini toolbar. It's not quite so many anymore, but center is one of those if you just wanted to click on center to center the title. Otherwise, you could have rolled up here and chose center. See how center's been selected now? But you could have rolled up to the top on the ribbon for paragraph and selected the center setting. Now, we want to insert a blank header. So I'm going to click on the Insert tab on the ribbon. And let me see, here's the header. So I'm going to use the pull down list for header. And I'm supposed to do the blank one. So I'm going to click on blank. And it's got a little type here with it. Now, a lot of people would just tab this over because we've got preset. There's a center mark and then there's the right align, which is what they wanted us to do. But I found out the hard way. Sam didn't want me to do it that way. Now, there is nothing wrong with doing it, just to let you know. But they had a different way they wanted you to approach this. So, having said that, let me find out where I'm at here. Go to Home on the ribbon and do the Align Right button in the paragraph group. And that puts it over on that side. I'm going to go back to Header and Footer so I'm there when I'm ready. Bow, space, and then we want to put in a page number. Now your gut instinct is to say top of page because you're at the top of page in the header section. But actually you've already typed there and your insertion point is at a current position. So make sure you choose current position and then plain number. Now, I know and you know that you're not supposed to have the page number nor the student's name on the first page. It should show up on the second page and we will have a third page eventually. So really and truly, this should be suppressed. Just to show you, they don't have you do this, but just to show you while you're in header and footer, you could say that you have a different first page and you could leave that blank. You could delete it as long as you check mark different first page first. And then this would be about 2, and the next page for works cited would be about 3, and so forth. So they don't have us do it. We've got what they want. We can close the header and footer. Save what you've done so far. And we want to create a first line indent. And let me just bring this back over for just a second so you can see it. Step 6 says create a first line indent of a 1/2 inch for the body paragraphs beginning when providing online content and ending with ebooks and articles. So just below the centered title, and just stop short of including works cited. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll apply our first line indent. So we're talking about these paragraphs here. Now this is where I love using the margin on the left hand side, because you can click and just drag down. Okay, it's not paying attention. There we go. And just kind of drag and roll with my scroll bar wheel on my mouse. Now we want to get all the way down through ebooks and articles, but don't get works cited. Now they want us to apply a first line indent. You have at the beginning where the left margin is 3 different tools. The top part of this hourglass is first line indent. The bottom half is a hanging indent. You're going to use both of those here in this document. You use the hanging indent in your bibliography page or works cited page. And so the bottom one, the little box, takes all of it together, so you're moving the entire left margin. So we want the top part, it should say first line indent, and you want to take it to that first tick mark that's bigger, halfway between where the margin is and the number 1 on the ruler up above. If you don't see your rulers, you can go to View, and in the Show group you can check mark the ruler. So if you click away from this, and let's just kind of scroll up now, you can see that each of our paragraphs that are actual body paragraphs are indented. Now, if it were me, and I think they do this in the textbook project, is we would set up this hanging indent, and then we would go back and we would add that as one of those features to our normal. So that if we were typing this ourselves, when we hit the enter key here to start this paragraph after this citation, then it would automatically indent me over the 1/2 inch, and I can start typing the most successful sales. Excuse me. So we've got that done. Let's save what we did. And then we want to respond to the teacher's comments. So let's take a look at what it says here. Respond to the comment from your teacher, Nancy Tokai, in the first body paragraph as follows. Read it and then delete the comment. Okay, and then before the period in the sentence, these groups include blah, 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 born from 20,000 on, period. Insert a citation to a new source using the information that they provided in this figure. Now, they blurred out the tag name because this is automatically generated, so it may not be the same as what you saw on yours, so they blurred it out so that you wouldn't worry that yours didn't look exactly the same. So let me, we're going to put all this stuff in. So let me move this out of the way so we can get it done. Yeah, come on there. Okay, now I think we got it where we want it. So let's just make sure that we're on the first. Here's the first comment on the first page. You might need to cite a source for this information. And let's see here. Can we see the whole thing? No, I just want to, well, usually, there we go. I just didn't click hard enough. It's not quite common knowledge. Well, as you can see, our book was published a few years back. So we've read it, now we want to get rid of it. So if we click on the ... we can do a delete thread. Or if you right click gotta right click on the ... Yeah, not really. Okay, some people will have delete comment here. And if you wanted to delete this comment, you are in the review part, and you can see that this is selected, and you could delete all the comments, resolve them, or just delete the one you're on right now. So regardless of how you do it, that one will go away. All right, now, baby boomers, which I am a member of, Generation X, Generation Y, or millennials, and then Generation Z from 2000 on. Well, here it is, 2022. I think we ought to have a new generational something or another so that we can, specify a generation of folks from 2004. Fourth, not, that didn't come out right. From the year 2000 and after. There we go. So we're wanting to put in, and we're going to click inside the period that ends that sentence. Or actually, yeah, ends the sentence. And we want to put in a citation. Now, in MLA guides, all of your citations and citations for MLA go inside of a set of parentheses. Typically, you'll have the author's name. Sometimes you might also include the page. Sometimes, rarely, maybe the year of that particular document. So we want to be in front of the period, not behind it. We use after the period is where we put footnotes and or endnote markers. So that's not what we're doing here. So we've clicked in the right place, and we want to go up to our references and insert citation. Now you can see the ones that are already here, and we have add new source or add a new placeholder. If you didn't have all the information that you needed, you could add a placeholder and then come back and, fill in all the details later. Just don't forget to do that. Okay, so add new source. And this is supposed to be a website. Now I want you to see how website is 2 words. There, because it's going to be different in another location. It is not an individual, it's a corporate author, so we're going to check that. And inside here, we're going to type in Pew Research Center. The name of the web page is Generation Study. Now, the year that it was published is 2020, and you can tab down. The month you need to spell out here is May, tab, and it's the 1st of May, so tab. Now, the year that Lee actually accessed this information was 2021. The month was August, spelled out. And then it was the next to the last day, so August 30th. Now, here we type website as 1 word. Now, here's my problem. We started off making it 2 words when we first started talking about it. And then we ran the 2 words together. The only thing I would say is these should be the same thing. Either put space with 2 words as a compound word or a single compound word run together. I just think that that's the way it should be. So I'm just going to proof this so I haven't messed anything up. 21 August 30 website. So we click on OK, and notice how it puts Pew Research Center. Why Pew Research Center? There's no individual author. This was a corporate author. So they've put the full name of the corporate author, in this case the company, or the location of the center. And you'll see how researcher and all this stuff pops up. You can use that if you want. I'm just going to get rid of it. I am going to blow this up just a little bit more so we have the ability to see it a little bit better. Okay. Now we're going to insert, and let me bring this back over. Step 8 says insert a citation to the existing Chastfield source before the period at the end of the sentence, campaign designers segment, blah, 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 to suit specific generations. So insert a citation to Chastfield, who we already have as a cited source in another location in our document. So it's all the information is there. We just got to cite it for this particular sentence. Okay, so let's go back over here and let's see. Campaign designers. Okay, I've got to find it. Usually the things jump off the page at me. There it is. So we already have Chastfield being used, so we know all the information's there. We just need to add this to our sentence that we have here, a citation for the same author and information. So we want to do insert citation. So insert citation. Now here's the person we want, Peter Chastfield. So we're just going to click on that, and Chastfield's been placed there. Now if you click there and you pull down this little list and you wanted to like edit the source citation or edit the source is where we put all the information in. So you could see what's in there right now. Okay. Now, we are supposed to, in this same sentence here, change the word customize. So we're going to just right-click on customize. And we're supposed to use, I believe they said the thesaurus. I'm looking for Mr. Thesaurus. And really and truly, they're wanting us to look at synonyms. So if you hover over synonyms, you can see that the only one that starts with T for Taylor, or a T is Taylor. Now the thesaurus can be reached through the synonyms, but this is the word they want us to use. So we'll go ahead and put that in there and tailor marketing content. Now in the fourth body paragraph, the generations all. So here it is here, all the way through shared slides and white papers. Find the riser or riser, citation, edit the source to use to as the date access. So they forgot to put that in it. Well, here's riser or riser, however you want to pronounce it. To me, two consonants following a single vowel is a short vowel sound, if you're English. So this would be riser or risser to me, but it could be riser. So we're going to go in here, pull down, edit our source. And let's see here. Is this the source to edit? Did I get the right one? From Miss Keisha. 2 is the day accessed. So they have 1 here. We're just going to backspace that off and type a 2. And we just have to say OK, and we've changed that information. Now, in that same paragraph, before the period at the end of the sentence, another similarity in white papers. Before the period comes another citation or something. Insert a citation to a new source, and they've given us the information. So, insert, add new source, and let me just kind of, well, let me cancel that till I can get this scrolled up here just a bit. I just want to show it to you before we start doing it. So here's the source, article in a periodical, Rivera. I always used to say Pedro because I had a good friend he called himself Pedro. Could be Pedro, could be Pedro. But anyway, you need to type that person's name in. Don't forget the comma. Generation Gaps is the title from the periodical Market Analysis, 2020 June 5th, 20 pages in its print. So that's what we're going to use. 24 minutes into this. I'm trying to hurry and get it in one recording, but I may have to stop it. All right, so we want to go to the end of the white papers here in front of the period. Insert citation, add new source. Excuse me, I got to roll this thing up so I can see it. Okay. Insert, add new source. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. Pull down list and look for article in a periodical. Unfortunately, these things are not alphabetically listed. You would think after all these years Microsoft would do that. Not so. Now, the author's name is Rivera. It would be like spelling river with an A at the end of it. Comma, space, Pedro. The title of his article is Generation Gaps. Tab down, it's market analysis. The year is 2020. The month is June. The day is 5. The number of pages is 20. And the medium is print, a printed document. So article in a periodical, Rivera, Pedro. Generation, well, I misspelled that. Okay, generation gaps. Market analysis, 2020, June 5th, 20 pages and print. So we'll say okay. So now we have Rivera there. And that's actually where it's supposed to be. Okay. Now, step 12. Step 12 says edit the advanced citation in the 5th paragraph across the generation's ongoing experience to add 14 as the page number. And it said to edit the citation, okay, in the 5th paragraph. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, okay. So we are going to edit Vance. So there's Vance. Pull down list, and we're going to edit our citation because we want to put the page number of 14 there. I know it says pages, but when you say OK, it's going to put the page number in there. And that's the way MLA guidelines do it. The style guide does that. Now, we want to provide additional information at the end of the 5th paragraph. And we need to click after the period because we're adding a footnote. Footnotes and endnotes come after the period of the punctuation of the sentence that we want to add a footnote for or an endnote for. So we want to click after the period there. And let's see here. We want to insert a footnote. So over here is footnotes. Insert footnote. You can see the insert endnote as well. Now, down here at the bottom, it draws the line. And if I scroll up here, you can see the one that they put there in order for me to have my superscript. Now, we're going to type in, these ads include banner and display ads, period. Don't forget your period. Okay, now, let me bring this back over here for a second. With MLA guides, okay, you have to still convert the text at the bottom to 12 point. We want it to be double spaced, and we want to have that first line indent. And we're going to modify the footnote text style, okay? So let's go do that. So we want to highlight this text that we added. You can see it's little. I don't think it'll let me have, yeah, it'll let me have the whole line. You want to right click on that. You can tell if I go to the home tab, it's Times New Roman, but it's 10 point. Now you don't want to fix it here. You've got to fix it on this line of text that you typed in for the footnote. So you go to Style, you right click on it and go to Style. Hopefully it's already got the style of footnote text already selected. There's Times New Roman, but it's 10 points, so we're going to click on Modify. Change that 10 point to 12. Change the line spacing to double. And we want to do a first line indent. So, you know, people wanted to go back up here and do it up here. And normally I'd say it wouldn't be a problem at all. But, of course, Sam's trying to teach you a different way, maybe something that works and fits together better. So we click on Format down on the lower left-hand corner, and we go to Paragraph. Now, we just want to make sure here, let's see what we got here. Okay, we don't have any spacing before or after, but indentation, we want to do this special. When you click on the pull-down list, you want a first line indent. First line indent. So now we're going to say OK to that. Hadn't changed yet. Because then we have to say OK to the changes we made here. And then we have to apply it. So it's indented, you've got your superscript, you've got the right font size, everything's like it's supposed to be. And by the way, you highlight that and you can see the double space. See how you have, when you highlight there, you can see the double space. Save what you've done so far. Let's see if we can get this done. Okay, in the main body of the document, find all instances of the text customers and replace it with consumers. And there should be 2 replacements. Okay. I always like to do a Control Home, which takes me to the top of my document. If you're using a MacBook and Control Home doesn't do anything for you, just scroll to the top till you're in front of the L and Lee. Now we want to do a find and replace. So let's see here. I've got to remember where I'm at here. Here we are, editing group. I'm going to click on replace because I want it to do, let me pull this over so you can see it. I want it to find, make sure you use lowercase letters here. I want to find the word customers, plural. And I want to replace it with consumers, also plural. Now you could step through one at a time, find the first one and then change it with a replace, or you could just do a replace all. So we're going to do a replace all because we know we didn't use customers that frequently. So do a replace all, and it's going to say all done. We made 2 replacements. Okay. Now, I'm going to close out find and replace, and we're going to go looking for it. So we're going to come back here to find. And you can see customers, there's no matches, but if we change this to consumers, and I'm going to get rid of that capital C there. Okay. We have 4 results. There were already 2 consumers in there. So it replaced, there's that one, here's the next one, and there's the last one. Okay, so we have 4 occurrences. I'm going to close out the navigation. Now, we came down to Nancy's second comment. This is a very interesting finding. So we're just going to click in the box and we're going to say thanks. Don't forget your exclamation point. And then you can use your little posting airplane to post it. And you'll see yours shows up here. Now mine's huge because I have really zoomed in a lot. Okay, so you could see things a little bit better. They don't have us delete it. They just had us respond to it. Okay, now we're going to go to the works cited paragraph. We got a problem here. It's showing up on the same page as part of the paper. So first and foremost, it says to do a control enter or a manual page break. So hold down the control key and hit enter, and it will move it down to page 3. Because works cited should be on its own page. Now we also want to center works cited. Now, I'm going to turn on Show Hide. I've left it off all this time. It tells us that there's this blank paragraph symbol here, and we want to click right there at the beginning of that. And we want to insert our own bibliography information from our cited sources. So go back to References, and you have Bibliography underneath the style. Now, don't use these that have these little, colored titles, bibliography, references, or works cited. Go down to Insert Bibliography, and there it is. There's your hanging indent for those that actually go over, 2 lines. So this is so much better. And don't you just love it? Peter's Bridging the Generational Content Gap is something he wrote, and he had it published in looks like a periodical or some kind of, periodical, I'd say, or journal. Market demographics. Notice it's in italics. Notice the date and the year and how many pages, and that it's print. So you don't have to worry about what do I put in quotes, what do I italicize, where do I put colons or commas or anything like that. It does it for you. Well, there's a couple little things that they want us to fix. So let me bring that over here just to show you the last 3 steps. In the bibliography, the year is missing from the Schauble source. So find the Schauble source in the body of your document and edit it to provide 2020 as the year. The only problem when you type that and you enter it is it doesn't automatically update the bibliography works cited page, so you have to force it to do that. It's just an extra step, but I really wish it would work without me having to force it. And we're going to check the spelling and grammar. And I just went ahead and typed this into the step here that spelling is going to catch online misspelled. When we run the grammar, it's going to change or ask if you want to change is to are. We have some plural nouns being used with a singular verb, and that's not correct, so we'll change the is to an are. And in their document, you can see where I fixed it. I struck out the is and put the are in there, because in their sample document they didn't do it, but I got 100 on it, so I know it needs to be done. Okay, so let's take care of this source. Let's update our field and do our spell check. Okay, let me see where I'm at here. Okay, so let's go back into our document and just look for Schauble. There it is right there on page 2. And I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click again if I need to. And I need to edit the source. And sure enough, they left the year out, and the year's supposed to be 2020. So now, if you misspelled somebody's name and it said you didn't have the right name of the magazine or something, you would just come back to the source and you would edit it. But you would also have to, now let's go back down to the bibliography. Look at Schauble. It does not show the year on here. So what we have to do is we have to right click on it and choose Update Field. Now I'm going to hover for just a second, because that'll force it to update those fields that have had some changes. And sure enough, Schauble now has January 2020. Now you'll notice as I start clicking around here, I've got a whole block. It treats the works cited, the inserted bibliography, as like one block of text. But you can see how I'm clicking and it's kind of turning them off again and that kind of thing. And if you click somewhere on another page, then it's like this again. So let's do the spell check. I always want to do a Control Home, start at the top. Now I have my spell checker on my Quick Access toolbar, but I have noticed that some students already have updated versions of Office 365, and so Word is updated. So it's not always where you thought it would be. So if you don't have it here, then you want to go to Review, and they have this new thing called the Editor. And I'm not sure I like it, but we'll go to the Editor. It's in the proofing group. And you can see it has one spelling and one grammar. Okay, so we're going to click on spelling, It's going to stop on online that's misspelled. Here's the correct one. We're going to click on it just like we would before. Now, here's where the is being a grammar problem. Across the generations, preferences, here's the real word. Preferences for online advertising are much different, not is much different. But we'll stop on the grammar check and you'll see that it recommends are, and we'll put it in there. Now, if you want to look at clarity, conciseness, formality, those kinds of things, you could. This is all different. What do you think about the editor? I don't know. The jury's still out. So, we've got this set up where we want it, and I'll show you one of those conciseness or clarity things. Generally focused. They get to where they don't want you to use any adverbs. I love my adverbs. I wish they'd leave my adverbs alone. But they just should say, you don't need the extra word generally, just are focused on them. So, I don't know about that, but like I say, I like my adverbs. But I'm learning to do a few things differently because I do think it makes more sense than, running on and on and on. So, we've got everything we want here. We're going to save it. We're going to close out the editor. And then we're going to close out this document. Oh, by the way, they think you should spell the year 2000 out as TWO space and then the word thousand spelled out. So I'm kind of like, I don't think so. So we're going to close this out. And let me see if I can get my, there you are. We're still in it, I think. Yep, we're still in it. Okay, let's go to Word. And this is the research paper, so Word Module 2, Sound Project A. And they do everything differently now. Launch. It's because I've blown up, I've made things so big. So I'm going to go ahead, because I'm using Student Preview. And it does sometimes take its dear sweet time. Okay. Now I'm going to click to browse for the file. And I really don't know where I put it. Let's see here. Those are PowerPoints. This is terrible when you can't remember where you stuck it. Okay, let's find it. That's not it. Well. I wish I knew where I put it. So what I'm going to do is just go to Word. And I'm going to see, you can't see what I'm doing, but I've got my instructions open. And I'm just going to see where it puts it when I do a file, save a copy. OneDrive Documents, CIT 105 Videos. Okay. That's where I should have gone. Okay. So let me go there. CIT Videos, Word Videos, Word Module 2, and there's my file. Okay. So browse it now that I know where it is. And I'm going to get the file we need. Sorry it's taking me so long to get this to find itself. Not the start file. Really? Which one was this for? Okay. Let's see, I think I got it for So what name did I give it? SCWD19 underscore 2A underscore my name underscore 2. Okay. Let me just go to a different class section. So give me a second to get there. I think I downloaded this for module 1 class 1 or 2. So it'll be okay. Let's see here. And we'll go down to our Word. And Word Module 2, creating. Let's see if this is the one it belongs to. I mean, it's a stickler for you didn't get this file from the right source. That's how it catches everybody's boo-boos if they are cheating. Okay, let's just see if it'll let me get it here. Okay, videos. Word 2. Okay, that's it. So I'll just submit it. And we'll look at the graded summary report. Let me save it where I want to save it. Okay. And let me pull it over. So we got 100 out of 100 following these steps. So I hope this helps you, and I will do the business letter one also. So I'm going to close this up because it's running almost to an hour. I hope this helps you. You can always pause it and stop whenever you need to.